Let me tell you something. I love this team now. I got goosebumps, gentlemen. I love this team. And so I was willing it to happen. That's what I was doing. And you know what? It worked out. Maybe I did have something to do with it. Break it down.
You can't touch this. You can't touch this.
Break it down.
Good God, what the fuck was this game? Like, oh my lord. This was a game the Lions should have had no business winning, but somehow, someway, they bullshitted their way into a win against the Bears. Like, oh yes, haters, you know it, the Lions pulled the Vikings, we backed into the win against Chitoilet. You know it, we backed right into it, alright. All luck, no fucking skill, baby. But hey, if there was one team I was glad that we backed into a win against, it 100% would be those shit-stained dickweeds out of Chitoilet. Couldn't have happened to a nicer team and fan base. But before we talk about this bullshit win against the Bears and everything that led up to it, let's take a look at the other Detroit sports and see how they fared this week before we talk about the game.
Detroit basketball!
Starting off with the Pistons as they were starting their in-season tournament with a couple games this weekend. Well, for this week, the Pistons are still total diarrhea, as the Pistons have now extended their losing streak to now 11 straight fucking games to open the season. Good God, this Pistons team is as bad, if not worse, than last year. And of course, the losing streak this week was capped off with an embarrassing blowout loss against the Raptors in Toronto. Like, I watched the tail end of that game, that was pretty fucking embarrassing. Like, Jesus Christ. Less said about that game against Toronto, the better. Like, good God, the Pistons are horrible. And the worst part about this game, about this Pistons team this year, is that there's no fucking excuses for this year. Last year, you at least had the excuse with Cade Cunningham getting injured early in the season and being out for the year. This year, you have a healthy Cade Cunningham, and you're still losing the exact same way. Like, even with Cade here, it's still the same old shit. But yeah, I think definitely 100% there needs to be a lot of questions about this Pistons team. It needs a massive overhaul, because right now, they can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's the definition of insanity. And we can't blame the coaches this time, because we're paying a shitload of money for Monty Williams to be here. So, I'll be honest, if there's a problem with the Pistons right now, I think it might be Troy Weaver. Because at this point in the rebuild, we should be seeing some sort of progress in the rebuild, and the Pistons have continued to go backwards. Like, if anything, this rebuild is almost becoming a failed rebuild, and then the next regiment that comes in is having to have to fix up the fuck-ups, and then rebuild on top of a rebuild. Like, this has just become a complete mess. Like, let me just say this. When the fucking Tigers, who are a mismanaged shit show, have a more brighter future than you, then you really fucked up somewhere in the pipeline. Like, part of it, though, I think, is also benching Jane Ivey, which that makes no fucking sense. Jane should be part of the starting fucking five. Like, the way they have been mismanaging Jane Ivey this year has been fucking criminal. Like, if you're not gonna fucking use him, then fucking trade his ass, for fuck's sakes. Like, if you're not gonna use him, then what's the fucking point of having him on the team just to waste space? just, yeah. Just, this is pretty embarrassing for the Pistons. Like, and honestly, at this point, I think there might be time to panic, because this is with a healthy Cade, and it's still the same as last year. And honestly, I'd be more concerned if I was Troy Weaver. I think his ass might be getting on the hot seat real soon. Because a lot of Piston fans are starting to turn on Troy Weaver. Has Troy Weaver truly outstayed his welcome? We'll have to tune in later this season to find out. But yeah, still pretty fucking embarrassing. Even with a healthy Cade Cunningham, still total diarrhea. All of this just to still get fucked in the draft lottery later this year. Now on to the Red Wings, as this week the Wings have taken their shows overseas as they're part of the NHL Global Series this year. As the Wings are have played 2 games this week in Sweden. Of course, Sweden being a country that has a lot of connections with the Red Wings. I mean, for fuck's sakes, a lot of the legends the Wings have had worth a damn have been from Sweden. I mean, let me name a short list of all the legends. Lindstrom, Kronwall, Holmstrom. Franson until he had his concussion and health issues. Even fucking Zetterberg. There was even that one year with Boreas Salming. There was also that one year with Danny Alfredson. And Wayne's also got another promise in Sweden, the pipeline, and Lucas Raymond. Like, yeah, like I mentioned there, the connections between Detroit and Sweden is pretty real. But yeah, it's still good, though, for the Wings to go overseas for a change. And of course, the Wings had 2 games played against 2 Canadian teams in Ottawa and Toronto. The first game against Ottawa, that was an embarrassing start, going down 4-0 pretty early. But the Wings were able to rally back to force overtime. And in overtime, James Robert pretty much let in one of the worst goals ever. Well, it wasn't really a bad goal from an Ottawa perspective, because Tim Stützle did a baseball swing at the puck in the midair to bat it in. But what made it bad was that Reimer could have stopped that thing, but he chose to duck his head down and let the puck in like a pussy. It's like, why the fuck would you duck at a puck? It's like, you're a fucking goalie. Your job is to stop the puck and take it like a man, not fucking duck down like a bitch. It's like, fucking take it in the head, goddammit. I should also mention, for the Wings, their goaltending issues, the goaltending would not have Billy Hustle, as Billy was back home in America for the birth of his daughter. So yeah, losing Billy Hustle on maternity leave. But yeah, that was a pretty embarrassing goal for Reimer to let in, because the Wings made such a great comeback, only to lose like that. That was pretty bad. That was pretty brutal and heartbreaking. And the Brinkat even getting a goal too, as even in Sweden, the kitty cats still go meow. As yeah, Harley wants to join in here. And then of course the second game against Toronto, the Wings got out to its early lead, until the Red Wings' inconsistency struck again as the Wings collapsed after going up 2-0. As Toronto rallied late in the game to score 3 unanswered to win 3-2. God damn it. So yeah, both games the Wings need the win, since the Ottawa and Toronto were chasing Detroit in the standings. And the Wings blew both games overseas in Sweden. That's pretty bad. But yeah, definitely the Wings. I think the Wings definitely there needs to be some questions about the Yzerplan, because goaltending's been a mess. Like, the only real defenseman the Wings have are Seider, who hasn't really lived up to what he had in his rookie season. And then you also have Jake Wollman, and now Wollman's questionable because he suffered an injury. And the forward core, all they really got is one line with the Brinkat, Larkin, and Raymond. As who else they really got in the forward core other than that one line? Like what? Maybe Foligno and maybe Sprong? That's literally about it. Like, the Wings definitely need to make a splash, and they need to make a move pretty quickly. Because I'll be honest, I think a lot of Wings fans are slowly going to start turning on Yzerman. I'm not at that. I'm not going to do that yet, but I'm starting to have some serious questions about the Yzerplan. Because the Wings are just about as inconsistent as last year. Definitely some questions need to be asked about the Yzerplan. But right now, it's looking like it's going to need a Herculean effort to get back on top. Good Lord, what was this game against the Bears? Jesus Christ. A game that Detroit should have had no fucking business winning, yet they found a way to somehow pull it off. Like, honestly, this game was easy. Out of every win Detroit has had this year, this is easily, without a doubt, their most undeserved win. Just pretty embarrassing how the Lions played. Like, honestly, to be honest, the Lions should have probably won this game by double digits, by at least 20 points. But the Lions today decided to do their best Pittsburgh Steelers impersonation and play down to their competition and make it more competitive than it should have been. Like, really, the first half of the game, the Lions played down to the Bears, but the Lions still weren't getting outplayed as bad. As the Lions were still able to make some magic happen, even though Goff struggled in the first half. Good God. With the 2 interceptions, honestly, Goff should have fucking thrown. There should have been a fucking pick 6 there in the first half. But somehow that didn't happen. And on that play, that pick 6 should have happened. Goff had a chance to throw the ball to a wide open Sam Laporta in the end zone. He didn't even look at him. It's like, dude, you gotta fucking watch the fucking end zone better and be more aware. Like, Sam Laporta was wide open. You could have had easily 6-7 points right there on the board, right there. Just completely fucking ignored him. My God damn it. But the Lions were able to get the lead entering halftime with a go-ahead touchdown from Amon-Ra. Because the Sun God is still leading the Sun God, proving why he's the more superior St. Brown brother and not Equanimous. And then the second half, the whole start of that second half was a fucking disgrace. Like, seriously. Lions start to get the ball, start second half. Go 3 and out. Chicago gets ball back. Chicago then kicks a field goal to cut the gap down to 1. Then on ensuing kickoff, Detroit fumbles the ball on the return. Chicago gets the ball right back. And then shortly after, Justin Fields, well, let's be honest, Fields didn't even play that well. Like, the only reason anyone thinks Fields played that well was because he has a couple good runs. Like, the only fucking throw he had that made him look like a fucking QB in this game was that 50-yard touchdown bomb to DJ Moore. That was like the only good throw he had this entire game. He played like ass for the most part. He just happened that Goff played like more shit than Fields for the majority of the game. And then after that touchdown, Goff would then throw his third interception. Like, honestly, at least 2 of the interceptions weren't 100% his fault because the ball got fucking tipped in the air. But, you know, still a pretty bad outing for Goff. Like, that was, like, easily one of Goff's worst games in a Lions uniform. It's in, like, since he first got here. Like, Jesus Christ, he played like ass. And the Bears took advantage of that by only kicking another field goal to go up by 9. And then we get to the fourth quarter where the Bears would go up by 12 late with a field goal that burned off like 8.5 minutes off the clock. Now, I should imagine here, with about 4 minutes to go in the game, Chicago had a 98.8% chance of winning the game. And then cue the last 4 minutes. Like, honestly, the last 4 minutes were like the only time the Lions actually played throughout this entire game because they could not fucking stop the run. The Lions could not fucking contain Fields or get any pressure to him. Like, Fields was able to run all over him for the most part. Like, just Fields. Like honestly, the Bears probably should have scored a lot more points, but the Lions should just be thankful that Fields can't throw a fucking football outside of 150-yard TD bomb. Because there's gotta be at least one fucking play in the game where Fields looks like a fucking competent QB. In comparison to the 25-30 plays where Fields looks like he doesn't fucking belong in the league. And then about a minute after the odds were revealed that the Bears had a 98.8% chance of winning. Just to be clear here, the Lions' comeback here, this following comeback, had less than a 1.2% chance of happening. As a minute later, Goff would then chuck the ball in the end zone, saying, fuck it, J-Mo's somewhere down there, and Jameson Williams happened to be in the right place beating double coverage to get the touchdown to cut the gap down to 5 points. And they forced the Bears, stop the Bears to force them to punt the ball. Lions get the ball back with plenty of time left. But honestly, with how sloppy the Lions played, I think if there was any player that was fitting to score the game-winning touchdown in this game, 100% it would be David Montgomery. As with about 27 seconds left in the game, the Lions would give Montgomery the ball, and Montgomery would run it in up the middle from a yard out to get the lead, to give the Lions the lead, 29-26. In David Montgomery's first game against his old team, his revenge game. Like, I'll be honest, for a start, I didn't think it was going to be a blowout win because the Bears usually play the Lions tough and pretty close. Plus, revenge games are always usually fucking weird. Like, for fuck's sakes, I'm at the Lions winning by like 2 points in this game, for fuck's sakes. In my preview video. But I said I wouldn't be surprised if it was a lot more. But yeah, the Lions just a fucking crazy acid trip this game was. And then when the Bears got the ball back with 27 seconds left, we find out, was Justin Fields him all along? In the end, was he? No, he was not. As Fields' first snap with a chance to try and win the game, Hutchinson gets to him and strips the ball away. And then Hutchinson does a big brain strategy move as he shoves Darnell Wright into the ball, forcing Wright to kick the ball out of bounds through the back of the end zone, which is a safety, which gives the Lions 2 additional points, giving the Lions a 5-point lead with 21 seconds left. And that meant Chicago would have to kick the ball right back to the Lions. So effectively, that safety effectively ended the game. So yeah, Aiden Hutchinson, despite getting manhandled, at least he finally got a holding called on him for once this year. That doesn't excuse the other million times that happened this year that the refs just conveniently fucking missed. I don't know, is it just the refs are trying to do everything to make sure Detroit loses? Or is Aiden Hutchinson not selling it properly? You be the judge, folks. But yeah, Hutchinson at least came in clutch and got forced to safety. And then Hutchinson takes the ball and kicks it out of bounds. That was a beautiful play. Like, let me just show how historic this Bears choke was. Because the Bears had a turnover differential of +3. Like, the Lions had lost the turnover battle 4-1. Like, in this league, you don't win many games when you turn the ball over 4 times. Lions at least were able to get a fumble recovery in this first half on the Bears to not make it look that bad. Hell, the Bears even dominated time of possession. The Bears had the ball for 40 fucking minutes. Like, before this game, no team in NFL history has had a turnover differential on +3 and controlled time of possession for 40 minutes and lost. The Bears are true pioneers. They're the first team in NFL history to have not only a turnover differential of +3 and a time possession of 40 minutes and lose. The Bears somehow lost a game they should have easily won. Like, I'll be honest here, any other Lions team in the past, they would have found every conceivable way to lose this game. But in the end, as sloppy as it was and unimpressive for most people, you know, the Lions proved why they're a good team. Because in the end, the good teams, the Lions did what good teams usually do. Good teams find ways to win games they probably should have no business fucking winning. Like, this is like the Jets game last year, where the Lions should have had no business winning that game either, and yet they found a way to win. This one, the Lions should have had no business winning this game, yet they found every way to win the game. Like, I mean, it's pretty, very massively sloppy, and I know a win's a win. You know, honestly, if it was any other team, I would count this as a fucking loss. But hey, at least it's the fucking Bears. Because, like, I think, to be honest though, this entire collapse just shows that the Bears are truly what we thought they were. And that is, they were the same old sorry-ass Bears. And it's also pretty satisfying, too, because the Bears fan base has been talking shit about the Lions non-stop throughout the entire offseason and most of the season. Even leading up to this week where Bears fans were talking about how they were going to get the Lions, expose them, and whoop their ass. And in the end, the Bears pulled off the most historic choke in NFL history. Like, this honestly makes more history than Atlanta Falcons blowing a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl. Because no NFL team has choked this bad in history until today. Like, the Lions just escaped by the skin of their teeth. Like, if the Lions played like this against a real team, the Lions would have lost by at least 20. But they got lucky that it was the same old sorry-ass Bears. Like, honestly, I would have liked to win by double digits and beat the living shit out of them. But hey, I honestly feel like the way the Lions won this game and the history that this caused, I think it's honestly, a double-digit win would be nice. But I honestly like this collapse better from the Bears. Could have happened to a nicer fucking fan base full of douchebags in there. Since Bears fans are once again still easily the worst fan base in all of pro sports. I mean, it's not really surprising that Chicago fans are classes. I mean, they were fucking cheering and wishing injuries on fucking Montgomery throughout training camp and OTAs. Because of what Montgomery said about the Bears not being fun. Because Montgomery told the truth. And it rubbed all their manginas the wrong way. Because they all can't handle the truth. And yeah, very satisfying that Montgomery got the last laugh with the game-winning touchdown. Also, Bears fans, thank you for Monty, by the way. Thank you. We really love that. And don't worry, we'll treat Montgomery better in Detroit than you ever did in Chicago. Because we actually give a fuck about our players, unlike you dipshits. Like, still pretty bad. The Lions played down to a Bears team that's pretty bad, that's trying to tank and has no fucking clue what they're doing. But you know, they found a way to win a game they probably should have had no business winning. Like, any other Lions team would have lost this game. Not this one. This one's different. But yeah, the Lions get the win 31-26. And the Lions are now up to 8-2 on the season. The Lions also get a little lucky break with the Vikings losing to the Broncos. So the Lions finally got good luck and we finally got some help. Thank you, Denver. Let's ride. As now the Lions got a 2.5 game on a division lead over the Vikings. So yeah. But yeah, the Lions are 8-2, and this is the first time since 1962 that the Lions have started the season 8-2. Like, let me just put this in perspective. The last time the Lions started off this good, JFK was still alive and was still president of the United States. And ironically, the Lions haven't been shit since JFK got assassinated, outside of 1991. Ironically, that's also when the U.S. also went down the drain, because the U.S. hasn't had a good president since JFK was assassinated. Like, JFK is the last great president the U.S. has ever had. Anyway, with the politics out of the way, back to football. Just, yeah, it's like first time in 60 years that the Lions started off this well. And let me just put this in comparison. A year ago, the Lions were entering Thanksgiving against Buffalo, 4-6. This year, the Lions enter Thanksgiving next week Thursday against Green Bay, 8-2 with the division in the bag. Like, at this point in the year, the Lions control their own destiny with 7 games to go. A 2.5 game lead on the Vikings in the division with 7 games left. And oh yeah, Minnesota doesn't have their bye week until week 13. And if Detroit can play their cards right, they could go up 3 games in the division. Like, hell, I'll be honest, I think there's a good chance where the Lions could have one of their last games late in the season flex to prime time. Maybe the game against Denver, since Denver's now back in the AFC wildcard race. And I think one of the Minnesota games is going to get flexed. Like, I'll be honest, I mean, the Saints game, I mean, if I felt like it was going to get flexed, they would have probably announced something by now. But, you know, never say never, I guess. But yeah, I feel like if there's any game where the Lions are going to get flexed like prime time, I think it's either going to be one of the Minnesota games or the Denver game. But yeah, got the win against Chicago. Pretty unimpressive and sloppy, but hey, a win's a win, and hey, it's the Bears. Anytime you beat the Chicago is a good day, because fuck the Bears and fuck that fan base. And honestly, I'll be honest, in that Bears fan base, the only Bears fan that actually is smart right now and has common sense is fucking Judah Tribe. Like, Judah Tribe's easily now the smartest Bears fan in the Bears fan base. I can't believe I'm actually saying that, but hey, if the shoe fits, I guess. I mean, you gotta give a shout out to the Bears. They played extremely well in this game, you know. Give a shout out to Judah Tribe too. Even though I still fucking hate the scumbag, you know, I'll give credit where it's due. But yeah, got the win, and now a short week to prepare next week for the Packers on Thanksgiving Thursday. Oh, by the way, next week the Wings and the Lions will get a solo recap vid next week. And next week the Wings and the Pistons get their own recap video next week. So yeah. And also there is no hate week video for Thanksgiving this year. I'm taking Thanksgiving off for hate week. It's just gonna be a preview and that's it. I already used my one hate week on the Packers earlier this season for week 4 on the Thursday night game earlier this year. I'm not doing 2 this year. But yeah, got the win on the Thanksgiving against the Packers. Looking for the sweep. Let's go get it. I'm out.
I say right foot creep, oh, walking with that heater. Look around, stay low, make sure they don't see you. Catch some bad, walk down, face them with that heater. The devil under your feet.